Welcome back everyone, and thank you for joining me on video 3. This is where it gets really fun and where we actually get to start setting stuff up. So this video will cover how to register your business, how to set up a business bank account, how to set up your G Suite, how to set up a website, how to get an email address for your business, so like .lakescapeservices.com or at lakescapeservices.com, how to set up QuickBooks, and how to set up invoicing systems that you can get, invoice people over email or take cards. I would say these things I just mentioned are very essential for today's 21st century businesses. They're kind of the building blocks of business nowadays, and it's really the only way to come across as professional as you want to be is to have these things that I've mentioned. So let's get right into it. Your first question might be, why do I even have to register a business? Well, the first reason is that the government says you have to. It's kind of the legal thing to do. You can't just start washing people's windows and taking money and all of that without having some sort of entity to run it through. So that entity is your registered business with the government. Another thing is that it's really helpful to actually have it, because you can actually set up way more things if you have it registered, like a business bank account and several website and all this stuff. If you have that registered business, it makes other things easier. The third thing is that it separates you from your business. It puts a wall of protection there. So if someone tries to sue your business, you don't get personally sued, your business gets sued. Or if the business goes bankrupt, you don't have to go bankrupt in your personal thing. Your business credit line could be screwed, but your personal credit is not affected as much. So those are just some of the things that, why you'd even want to go ahead and set up a business bank account. Just register your business with the government. So without further ado, I'm going to post a link to another person's video, landscaping local guy in Minnesota, and he is going to go through actually the steps and the how-to. As I said, before, I'm all about efficiency, all about getting things done quickly and learning as best as you can. He already made this video with all the steps, and I think it was filmed in 2017, so it should all be recent. But there's no need for me to make a second thing. So if someone else has a better resource than I do, I'm going to share that with you. And that's how I learned to do all this. So I won't say that again. If you see me posting links, that's the reason why. So here's the link. Go open in a new tab, take a second, pause this video, go over, watch that video, follow along with him. You can do this in 20 minutes or less. It's not going to be that hard. Make sure you have a debit card on you or credit card to pay for it. It's $155 in Minnesota as of right now. So go ahead, set that up, get all the things that he recommends, and just do that. Come back here when you're done. Congratulations. You are a business owner. Well done. If you set up your business, now you're officially a business owner. Very first step complete. Check that off your list. Congrats. The next thing you're going to want to do is set up a business bank account. So this is where there's tons of options, and when I was setting it up, I kind of got overloaded by all these different options. There was so many different checking, credit, different banks, whatever. These are just some of the tips that I found was very helpful. First and foremost, there's a lot of options, so choose an option that has no fees, no minimum balances, no hidden anything like that. My recommendation is US Bank. I've been working with them now for the last 6 months or something, and I've never had a problem. It's been really great. They've been super helpful. And I really appreciate them, and I've never had a fee, I've never had a warning notice, nothing like that. They have online banking, you can deposit checks on your phone, you can see all your accounts on your phone, everything like that. It's all super streamlined and very systematized and very easy to set up and get going. So highly recommend US Bank. If I were you, I would go with that. The second thing is that you can set it up either online or in person. Most of the time, I would say save yourself a trip and set up stuff online. It's easier. You can pay with your card online, set everything up. It's nice and simple. However, for this situation, I would say go into the bank. The reason being, you can actually build a relationship and a rapport with the banker. The banker is not a machine, not yet anyways. AI is not that good. So you're actually going to go and talk to a banker and build a relationship, build rapport, get to know him, get his phone number in your contacts and everything like that, and he'll help you set it up. You tell him about your business. Kind of be open about what your goals are. Prove, what your plan is. Just talk to him and get to know him a little bit, him or her. And when you do that, you actually have a friend in the banking industry. You know, you have a friend, someone who you can call immediately if you have a problem with your bank or something happens. Whereas if you set it up online, you might not have that relationship and you don't have an immediate contact. You're going to have to go through the help menu and wait. Already I've had to call my banker 4 or 5 times, just from different things. Like I needed checks. You know, I didn't have checks. And I asked him, I said, hey, look, I'm a startup, whatever. Is there any way we could waive the fee for the checks? I was going to have to pay like $25 to have the checks sent to me. And sure enough, because I had built that rapport with him, that relationship, he waived that fee. So I didn't have to pay $25 for the checks. I got free checks, which is, not common. If I had set it up online, guarantee I would not have gotten that. A couple other things. I wanted to set up multiple checking accounts to do my accounting, and we'll get into that later on. It's a very helpful system. But I went in and met with my guy. He introduced me to a different, specifically a business banker, and built that relationship quickly. And now I'm playing in that guy's soccer league. His name is Ibo. But anyways, like, my point is, it's about relationship, and having a relationship with your banker is going to be crucial. So make sure you do that. Now that you've opened up your business bank account and you have a relationship with your banker, go ahead and ask him to open a line of credit for your business. Now, your business credit and your personal credit are different. They're kind of separated by having that business, but it's kind of complicated how it works, but they kind of are interconnected. Like, if you default on your business credit, it can affect your personal credit. But your business credit is it is a separate thing. So what you can do with business credit is, depending on what your bank says and what options you have, is you can get rewards, cash back, different perks of having the business card. But really what it can do is help free up some cash flow. A lot of small businesses, especially with a $1,000 startup, if you have a cash flow issue where you're going to get paid for a job in a week, but you have to hire the guys to do that work for that next week and buy supplies and stuff, a business credit card can be great to kind of offset some of those costs, put those on the card until you get that payment that comes in. So setting up in the beginning, it can be very helpful, as long as you know how to manage that credit. Some famous people like Dave Ramsey and stuff will just say, don't mess with credit at all, don't ever owe anybody anything, like just do it pull yourself up by your bootstraps, do it yourself, blah blah blah. Which I agree with that, but in a way, but I also think that credit is a tool in our modern world. Like, it's a thing that the people who understand it and who play it well, they succeed because of it. And a lot of real estate and different businesses really utilize credit, and I think that you can too. And I'm doing my best to as well. I pay off my monthly balance at the end of every month. It's automatic. It goes in from my checking account to my business credit card, pays it off. But I am building perks as I'm doing that and building my business credit. So if ever I want to do something else, a new line of credit, or expand my line of credit or buy a bigger purchase or anything like that, free up my cash flow, I can do that. I can do that because I started by doing that now and made sure to not ever default or not ever miss a payment or anything like that, because it's all automatic. So that's just another tip and trick. You ask your banker when you're in the bank, say, hey, can I open up a line of credit as well? Open that up, use it, but use it at your discretion. Use it and make sure that you pay it off at the end of every month. Okay, now you've laid 2 of the building blocks of your business. You have your registered business with the state, tax number, all that stuff, and you have your business bank account, which should have a line of credit as well. So those are 2 very key things, very crucial, and it's great that you're right here I have already set them up. Moving on to the next thing, your domain and website. Domain and a website can be a very powerful tool now in the 21st century with social media marketing, driving traffic to your website, having reviews on Google, having reviews online. That's all very powerful stuff that you need to be tapping into. But to do that the most effective way, you should have a domain and you should have a website. You can't really just do it with social media only. So how you're going to do that is I've posted yet another link right here. Someone who made a really great video about buying a domain name. I like to use GoDaddy. It's a website, GoDaddy.com. You can buy domains, buy and sell domains on there. And you can usually find pretty cheap ones. So they'll give you instructions on how to do all that, buy it, set it up, everything like that, and then check back in with me after you've done watching that video and purchased your domain name. Okay, so after watching that video, you should have purchased your domain name. And now to make the domain name relevant to anything, you need to get a website. And there are tons of different options. definitely don't start coding one with HTML5 or anything like that. There's hundreds and thousands of templates on the internet and website building tools like Wix, Squarespace, Weebly, WordPress, you name it. There's tons, a lot of options. I personally like Squarespace. I think their design is great. I think they have a lot of good free templates. I think that the basic version that you don't have to pay for is really sweet, and it works well, and no fancy bells or whistles, but it gets the point across, gets the job done, and is highly customizable if you need it to be. So I like to use Squarespace. If you want to check it out, here's a link to Squarespace, and in a little bit I'll also put a link over here as well to another video, which is very quick. It's only a minute, but it goes through how to connect that domain name to your Squarespace once you've set up a Squarespace. So Squarespace, go to squarespace.com, and the link that I sent, click on that, create an account, everything like that, pick a template, set that up. Once you have that basic site set up, go ahead and click the second link, which I put right here, to learn how to connect the domain name to that website. After that, check back in again. Alright, so now you have your domain connected and you have your website. It can be very tempting to start editing your website and making it look beautiful and filling in all the information and choosing colors and everything like that. But for the purpose of this video, I recommend you just leave that for another day and continue cranking through all this setup stuff to make sure you have your good base built out before you really start editing all the details and stuff like that. So moving on, I think the next thing that is crucial to do is set up a G Suite email address, as well as buy G Suite and have that accessible to you starting right now. So G Suite basically is Google's business tool that allows you to create an email address that says something like info or your name at yourbusinessname.com. So for me, it's caleb.smith@lakescapeservices.com instead of caleb.lakescapeservices@gmail.com, something like that. A huge thing in the service-based industry is credibility. You always want to be as credible as you possibly can and professional looking. And if you're promising such a professional service to these high-end customers, they're not going to want to see @gmail.com for your business email. It just looks tacky. So this is a great purchase, in my opinion, for credibility and for having a good base foundation. Also, with G Suite, you don't just get the email, you get an entire suite of tools. That's why it's called G Suite. A suite of tools that you can use and that you can really maximize your efficiency with. So just to run you through a couple of the tools that they have in there, G Suite comes with Google Photos, comes with Google Drive, comes with Docs, Sheets, and several other tools. Those are the ones that I mainly use. So I use Google Sheets for doing estimates, calculations, anything like that. I have and I can get into that a little bit later, but an estimate calculator in there where I just put in the square feet and the density of weeds on a scale, and then it literally spits out a calculation, just like Excel. It's really the same thing as Excel, but it can be used to make estimates nice, quick, and easy. Everything is transferred between your phone, your computer, everything. Anyone that you want to add to the G Suite service, you can add an employee, a manager, something like that, and everyone can see the same thing. It's all very cohesive. So that's one thing that I love about it. Google Photos is also great. I do a lot of before and after pictures. It's one of my biggest marketing things, to use in new ads and to send to old customers to get them to buy again, stuff like that. Remind them of how it used to be compared to how it is now after we did the service. So having a Google Photos that's dedicated, a Google Photo account that's dedicated to your business, you can easily store all the photos, organize them, categorize them by date, by name, put them into folders. Once you learn that system, it becomes very easy as well to create before and after pictures and everything of that nature. Google Docs I use to keep customer profiles. So you get Ryan Smith, and I'll have all of his information in there, home address, all that. Oh, and contacts is in G Suite as well. So you obviously have your contacts, so name, email address, physical address, everything like that. But in Docs, you could write out more specific details. And there's actually a book called, I'll put the book link right here. It's called Swim with the Sharks Without Getting Eaten Alive. And it's by a local Minnesotan writer, something McKay, I can't remember his first name. But he actually has a 66 question questionnaire for your customers. And it's very interesting if you look over it. It has, their birthday, hobbies, sports preferences, and it has a list of the most detailed things about each customer. And what I like to use that for is, I don't use all of it because it's very extensive and I'm not big enough yet, my company isn't, to be filling out all that information as I hear it. But as much information as you can remember from a customer as possible. So you pull up in their driveway and there's a Packers bumper sticker on their truck, and you pull up. So that's something you can go into Google Docs, and you have your customer profile already. It's connected to their contact, and you can enter those things in. So if the Packers have a huge win or something like that, you can remember that and have that organized and be able to send a text out to the customer, Ryan, and say, hey Ryan, like congrats on the Packer win. Just thinking of you, whatever, something like that, something personal, because that's what we're really getting at here, is a very personal service, and something where they can be like remember, and then they'll be like, oh, Ryan's gonna look outside and see the lake weeds have overrun his property, and say, hey, I was just thinking about you too, we need to get the weeds done, what's your availability, stuff like that. Like, it just keeps you in communication, keeps you in good favor with the people, and they're gonna be amazed. How do you know I was a Packer fan? How did you know my daughter's name? Oh, well, you mentioned it one time, and now I wrote it down. And you don't tell them that you have this huge profile of information, but it's there for your use, and to keep those customers, have that retention, because really that's the sellable part of your business as a service-based business, is your customer base and the information you have about them. So G Suite, mandatory, definitely a must-have. Here's the link to another video of how to set that up, and make sure you get that set up right and have everything you need in there. So after you set that up, catch back up again. Thanks. So now you have business bank account, registered business, domain name, website, and G Suite. Almost done. Last but not least, you need to set up some sort of payment system to be able to take card payments. There are several different options. One of them is PayPal, another is Square, point of sale. Another one, like if you do US Bank, there's actually a native system that they have in US Bank where you can buy the card reader and send invoices directly through your business bank account. So those are all different options. I started off using Square mainly because it's extremely trusted. Who hasn't checked out with Square before? At a coffee shop or at a boutique or state fair or wherever it is, everybody knows what Square is, and especially the customers that you're selling to, because they often buy from not the Walmarts of the world, they buy from the small boutique type of stores. So they know what Square is, and when they see that you're using Square, that is just another layer of reliability, of trust, of you proving that you're a real business and that you can handle your stuff. So I like to use Square. Very easy to set up. You can literally go into squareup.com, I'll put the link here as well, and just create an account. It'll walk you through all the steps, and when you're done with those steps, you should also, it'll ask you if you want to be shipped a card reader for free, and they will send that card reader to you, and you can have your first free card reader to be able to, on the job, take a payment with a card on your cell phone or on your computer if you have it there with you or whatever. So that's really nice. Once you set that up, we're done with this video. That's the last thing you have to do to have the final building block of the foundation of a good, strong business in the 21st century. There's tons of other apps and tons of other things you can set up to help be more efficient or more professional or credibility, all along those lines. But I think these things are the ones that you can't go without. You have to have these things if you want to be credible and successful and worth your salt in this game. So finish setting that up. Once you set that up, check back in for video number 4, where we'll be going over some more important stuff. Thanks.